Hello and welcome back, Chiro Thought Leaders. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Zaino show. We are live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and I want to welcome everybody to the show here. Scroll down below the video. Make sure you hit all the like buttons, G+, tweet, share, pin it. Just check out all of the social media and make sure that our colleagues know that we're on live as well. I want to thank everybody for being on here. We already have 20, 21, 22. It keeps going up, people in the chat roll. And like I said, in one of the other ones, I think it's about a 1-to-5 ratio. So we probably have about 80 to 100 docs on, and they're continually coming in as well. Thank you for putting your questions in there. We've got 2 or 3 questions already. And then if you'll scroll down even below that, you'll see that we're in the middle of a launch with Dr. Patrick Gentempo. And if you've been watching these videos, man, they are awesome. It's all about philosophy. It's about chiropractic, and it's really how to take your game to the next level. And we may share more about that with you here in just a second. So what we're going to do to kick things off today is usually we start right off with the live questions, which, by the way, continually put your question in there. We will get to it. We're going to have a little rapid fire session with some of the questions we've been missing in the last couple of weeks, because I know a lot of people wanted to get their question answered as well. So Dr. Zaino, are you there, ready to go?
I'm ready to go rapid fire. So, Tabor and I, we promise, and we'll stand our word that every one of your questions that you submit will get answered. We promise that. We're not going to leave anybody behind. So we're going to do a little rapid fire. So let's go.
Awesome. How do you know when to add another employee? I was told 1 for every 80 patient visits.
Let me do this real quick. I don't know if that's a good formula. It's like kind of a BMI index. It's not really accurate. No, I would go on the side of a deep bench, meaning that I would hire someone before you don't want to get to a chaotic point. So if your goal is 300 a week and you're at 200, I would start looking. But we don't need them at 200 yet. It's like, well, that's a thing. You hire one, you get them ready, you get them trained, and then they'll help you hit that. Because what happens if you hit a critical point and chaos starts happening, you'll drop, and then you got to hire someone. It's very rush. So I would actually, I would hire early and start to delegate. Delegations can be huge, because when you delegate, your productivity goes up. So, I remember, at 600 a week, we had 1, 2, 3 people, including myself, or 3 people, or maybe 4, including myself, in a 1,200 square foot office. And that was great. Someone's doing the x-rays and day ones and new patients and reviews. Someone was working the rehab. We had a front desk person, and there you go. So, you could go as much as you want. The whole problem is that old chiropractic mentality: keep your overhead as low as possible. But a human being, it's different. A human being is not overhead. It's someone, if you have a strong team player, you will appreciate them so much more later on in your career. Like I could tell you, I appreciate my team more than ever, and I appreciate my patients, my lifetime patients, more than ever. I appreciate them more than any new patient walking in that door. So you have a strong team player. They're the ones that are actually going to take over your office, so you could have freedom again and be really awesome at what you love to do. So start courting team members now and build that office.
Awesome. Good answer.
Mike Tabor, you did that, right? You have some good team now, and it's just Tabor wouldn't be able to do all the stuff you see that he does on the online stuff if he didn't have a good team.
Oh, yeah. So. No, absolutely. That's what I was going to say, actually, was to just to say that I know we do it and Dr. Zaino does it, is that it's not so much, hiring at the last minute when you have to. It's actually finding the right person early so that you could explode and you could keep growing.
Right on. So, cool.
All right. So when you treat families, how do you charge? Same fee for husband, wife, kids, or reduced fee for additional family members? If a reduced fee, then how do patients submit a super bill? As it is my understanding that it's not okay to have dual fee schedule and submit different fees for same service from the same provider to insurance, especially when non-participating without agreeing to insurance fee schedule.
Okay. Number 1, we don't accept their insurance. That's 1. We're out of network. Number 2, you could do that by, family member number 2 doesn't pay for a rehab kit, or family number 3 doesn't do as much rehab. They're not paying for rehab, but we might give it to them. So we bill according to, we'll fit that fee, if
Right.
we have, so it's a reduced price, whether you take 10% off the second one or 20. So you make that super bill reflect that. So I never discount the care of the adjustment. They just get less, whether it be rehab or maybe they don't have to buy a home care kit because they're sharing it, stuff like that.
Which, or I think you could also, you know, build the codes for your adjustments on, maybe the first so many, and then there's wellness codes out there that you can
Yeah.
put, and you can make any price you want in your wellness code. So
That's a perfect Zaino experience or CA experience question when you work with the team.
right on.
Yeah.
So this one, you've heard of run-on sentences. This is a run-on question.
Good.
And so I'm going to read through it, and then you can answer it how you want to here. So what is your daily routine? I heard that you get up early, like 4:30 a.m., meditate, gym, patience. Do you treat all day, or do you associates treat? What time do you end at the office? He says, I'm a single doc office, no associates, so I want to work and run out and get everything done. And maybe a better question would be, what does a day and a week look like for you? And what did it look like before you had such a big practice?
Okay, it was basically the same. I wake up early in the morning, and that could be 4 or 5 in the morning. I'll either do my cardio, and when I do my cardio, I read, and I have get all my reading done. And then get ready for work. I work from 7 to 10, and then after 10, I walk out the door. I work at the door at 10, but you're not going to be able to do that because you don't have a team or a staff, which is necessary. So you can't have that luxury. So, if it was my wife and I, we just have to do whatever paperwork we have to do. So maybe we're out by 11:30. Go back from 3:30 to 6, and the same thing. I'm out by 6, or I have to do a masterpiece report of findings or a dinner, dynamic dinner. That'll be after 6. Then my team will stay till 7, doing the necessary paperwork and closing up. And during that day, in that middle day, that could be working out, that could be sleeping, that could be marketing, that could be all those things in there. So again, if you get help, you want to get help. If you want to have the luxury of these things, you get help, and you produce more. So you never wait. Like, that's the thing. Like, I would hire someone knowing that I'm going to expand, I'm going to grow. Not like, the thing is like hiring someone with the vision that this place is going to explode before it even happened, right? So that's why it's important. When I hear too many people, they're waiting for it to happen, which it's not going to happen, right? You're waiting, and then when you feel you're ready, then you'll hire someone. And it's a very clunkety, real easy way for you to hire wrong hire as well. So, and that is my week. It's very scheduled. It's pretty much the same thing all the way around. Some days I have more shifts than others right there. I'll have dinners or advanced talks or on Monday nights or date nights on Monday nights, after those events. So, I just take my Google Calendar and I schedule everything in there. But again, my team is essential for me to be able to have the schedule I have now.
Awesome. Great answer. And I agree. And I think you make it happen. Like, I had someone always told me, well, you work out now, but you won't when you have kids. Oh, you only have one kid. You work out with one kid. You won't when you have 2 kids, or if you have 3 kids. And now I have 3 kids. I still work out. I will always work out for the rest of my life. And you just make it happen.
Yeah, you become
Even
resourceful.
if it's at night after the twins go to bed. All right. So what is the most efficient way to memorize our longer presentations, like the dynamic dinner, the masterpiece reports, etc.?
Practice them. You practice and you practice. And when you do, and you practice them, and you got to actually do them. So remember, no one knows that you forget something to say when you do your talk. No one knows what you're going to talk about. So I think that's a big fear. Don't fear that. Go and do it and practice and train. That's
Right.
the only way you're going to get good at everything. You practice it.
Yep.
And if you don't got it, you practice it some more. It's work, you're professional. You practice between your performance. Just think, if you were an athlete, you're like, well, how do I hit a 98 mile an hour fastball? It's like you friggin' take batting practice for hours every single day until you nail it, right? So the same thing with that talk. But unlike batting practice, you either hit or you don't. But with a talk, you could miss a lot of key points and no one knows. So don't ever fear that, or don't get caught up in having to nail everything. But as you get better and better at it, you'll be able to then master. So when you master the dynamic dinner or a masterpiece report of findings, you want to practice so much that you master it, so you could actually talk, where to go. And it's not using the same words. It's the same, you just know the next point to go to. but you want to have it down so good that you could also now relate with the room, see how the room's working, work with the energy in the room, so you're not just a robot, right? Because when you're just repeating it, you're robotic. But now just to know exactly what's going to be said, or where we have to go uh, next, or where this piece flows into this piece in the talk, then you could really enjoy presenting. You could enjoy influencing, because then you could work with the audience versus thinking, what's the next thing I have to say? So it's practice. The only reason that's the key to it. It's the discipline of practicing.
Absolutely. I didn't realize how much that was until we had Roberto on here the other week, and he said you give the talk like you were going to give it, like in front of the mirror or whatever, 7 times
He
before.
trained 7 hours. So for
Yeah.
those, number one, by the way, if you didn't make it to the Chiron Thought Leaders event, you missed out. And that was just an awesome event. In fact, yeah, you want to definitely get your hands on a copy of that. And I mean, they were all good. All the
Yeah.
speakers were good, but Dr. Tabor is one of the best. I mean, definitely, we all agreed, and we had some heavy speakers there. They're awesome. But I mean, Tabor practiced definitely a long time for his talk. Roberto spent 7 hours for what he delivered. And you know
Yeah.
why? You know why everybody looked great? Because these are people who practice. They're professionals, and professionals practice between their performances. So we got 2 bonus for you at the end. If you stay to the end of this, I got a great Zaino experience bonus for you guys. People asking when are you going to have the other one? It's going to be April 8th and 9th. And we have a speed of implementation promo code that I'll tell you at the end of this. And you're the first ones that know. We'll start putting it in the email and on Facebook and stuff like that. But you're the first ones that know about it. So you'll have first come, first serve. It's just for 3 offices. And at the end of this, I'll let you know the promo code that you're going to save $3,000 when you put this promo code in. So we'll tell you that at the end. Next question.
Awesome. All right, here's the last one. Then we'll go to the live questions. What is Dr. Zaino's ritual/rhythm regarding spiritual growth?
It's it's the books. It's just an audio. So I did this last week. I have my book here. Now I'm reading this book, The Greatest Words Ever Spoken, and this is just Christ's words. It's not Paul. It's not anybody else. It's what Christ had to say on every subject. So I want to listen to him. I mean, Paul's a great guy. I'm sure he's awesome. And Mark and Luke. But the thing is, I want to know what Christ said. I don't want to know what educated man said. So I do that. Philosophy is spiritual growth to me. It's how you think. It's the way you perceive life, your worldview. And I just read it every single day. Every single day. And the way is like you read it, and I'm not reading it to get through it. I'm reading it to get an impression. So you'll read something. That's why I'm not great on audiobooks, because I like reading it, because maybe I'll read one paragraph and then I get an impression. So it speaks to me in a certain way. And maybe I'll just kind of meditate or stay on that for a while and just kind of, I don't want to say daydream, but let my thoughts take me down this road. Like there's a lot of introspect, a lot of, questions, and then it's just, you kind of go on your own little journey. So that's a spiritual growth. You don't have to go to a 4-walled church to meet God. He's right there with you all the time. So it's, it's taking time with God. It's reading. It's, it's all those things on a daily basis. It's just not on Sunday. I love BJ used to say, you go to church and you talk about God on Sunday and you forget him the rest of the days of the week. And the same thing here. We can't. It's in every part of our day. Just when you're not there and you get back there, you realize how far off you were. So it's your readings, it's your audios, and it's self-questions. It's your philosophy. It's always, your philosophy is like clay. You're always refining your philosophy and how you're thinking. And, because sometimes in your philosophy, there might be gaps and holes and you're filling it in. So it's really this journey that you keep on going through. And you ask, I want to be taught by God. I want to have my innate really lead me and guide me and counsel me, and not education. So that's kind of my prayer every day, is that I'm learning, and I'm learning from experiences and impressions throughout the day and certain conversations that come to you through patience. So I feel God's talking to me all the time. These questions, we'll have certain questions that, it's like he's always, I really feel that we're always being tuned in and we're always being talked to and guided. So that to me, your spiritual journey it's not something you earn, it's something you experience.
100% agree. Well said. We're going to move into the live questions. We'll start with our first one here. What do you do with prior patients who come back for treatments months or even years later? Do you go through the new patient protocol again?
Great question. Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Day one, new patient, got to come to the doctor's report with your spouse. Because what I want to do is I don't want you to have to break your mold or your procedures because of them. Like, you're not making a special case for that person. You know, for me, it's if they've been gone at least 3 or 4 months, they go through the whole thing again, because I don't know what their x-rays look like. I don't know what the heck happened. And if you've been gone 3 or 4 months, I could definitely say that you lost it. You lost the big idea. Like, you let other situations and priorities get in the way of your health. So they go through the whole entire process again, and they love it. They're so grateful. They're like, thank you so much for the reminder. Thank you so much. You know, so it's really is beneficial to them. And it's, you're not deviating. You're not making special cases. You know, it just, they'll be sitting there with all the other new patients during your master feed report.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah, great question, great answer. We do the same thing. I think I actually got it from you, Dr. Zaino, is if they're gone longer than 3 months, we do new patient again.
Yeah.
So, how do you respond when a patient says they really want the care, but they have to take it home and think about it, and they never make decisions on the spot? I am going over health investing versus medical debt and also destroying insurance, but still having some respond with that. Thanks so much for all you do.
Great question again, and great frames. I'm glad you got the masterpiece report of findings. It's all in there.
Yes.
Definitely in the report, you know, you go over that, and then I would ask that, be like, so if someone goes home, if someone sees their problem and they go home, and they say, well, I'm going to go think about it. Be like, what's happening to the disease process? Is it getting better? You know, so is it still being neglected? Yes. Is it still there? Yes. So is it get better or worse? Worse. So if your health's the most important asset, how is neglecting that problem going to benefit you? It's not. You see what I mean? So you go through that you hammered immediately in that thing. You see, so when someone says, I could say, if so-and-so told me they're going to go home and think about it and walk out the store with that problem, and with that problem or any other excuse, like they don't have the time or the money, who are they really hurting? And they're like, themselves. And I'm like, so how is neglecting your problem? And maybe you have to do an analogy they can understand. So if the nail is in the tire, so if you see a nail in the tire, in your car, you see it in the garage, you say, you know what, or at work, you say, well, I'm going to go home and I'm going to really think about what I'm going to do about that nail. Would anybody do that? And it was like, no. You know, if the fire alarm's going off, you'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go home and talk to my spouse to see what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to pray about that. Like, so, you know, so how does neglect ever help a situation? It doesn't. So if you're neglecting your health, will it ever get better? No. You know, and then, you know, so if you're, and I like Dr. Fred's line, you could throw this in, I've been using it. So if you're not making time to fix your health, then you're making time for disease. How do you want to spend your time? So, I mean, this is something you do in a group, right? Great. Yeah, doc, I did that. So did I. Then we go back in the room, and guess what? They say the same friggin' thing. And they're sitting there like, you told me out there, everybody will tell you the right answers in a group. And then you go back, and they're giving you, say, hey, listen, didn't we go over that? You know, and then you could just approach there. But when that person's doing that, they're just not taking responsibility over their health. It will happen. And sometimes in my report of findings, some of you went to the Zaino experience, you saw me go in there and say, listen, when we go back to look at your findings, this is the time when, you know, when we go back, I really only want to save that time for those of you that are really committed to correcting your health and you're really serious about this. Because, you know, what I would hate to see is for one of you, everybody out here answered every question perfectly. You say, if this is the problem, what's happening? I'm getting sick. If this is you, would you correct it? Yes. You know, if you neglect it, what's going to happen? I'm going to get worse. So you answered all the questions. You answered everything correctly. But then for some people, they go back there and all of a sudden it doesn't pertain to them. They don't have the time. They don't have the money. They got to think about it. They got to go home and pray about it, or they're going to go, you know, meditate on it. I go, so if you're going to use these excuses, it really is an insult to your intelligence. So I would really like to avoid that. And so when we go back to those rooms, this is the time where this is kind of the division of the report. For those of you who are serious, you know the time, you know what it's going to take, and you know the cost of it. If you have no excuses, we're going to bring you back. If this just isn't the place for you, and, you know, instead of telling me excuses about your health, and, you know, that's actually like doesn't look good on your part, and you neglect it, you don't even have to go back there. We'll email your x-rays. Just let Misty know. And then if it's not the place for you, you know, we'll be here for you when your health is a concern. So every time I do the you're either committed or not, I do that sometimes. If we have a really big group, there's always 1 or 2 people that go and check out their x-rays, and, you know, we send them all drawn up to them. And that saves us 2 rooms and a lot of wasted time, because they got to know, listen, you got to make a decision. You're either in or you're out. And so you get to that point, but I would definitely address it in the group. And if you do hear it in the room, I would use the same frame you do there. But when I hear that in the room, it's like, if I have to, all I'm doing now by showing you what a moronic response that is, and I could prove everybody to see how ridiculous that response is, but I know their heart's not there. You follow? So I really don't want that person anyway. You want the person that's like, yeah, I'm in. I got to definitely do it. So we have a comeback for every excuse possible. But for us to have to persuade them, and no, I don't want to say manipulate, persuade that person or let them see what a ridiculous lying answer they just told you was, it's like their heart's not there anyway. They're going to quit. They're not committed. You know, it's probably, you know, you know what, you're going to sign them up and they're either going to quit in a week or you're going to sign them up and they're going to wind up quitting later on. You know, Tate?
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say exactly what you said, is that even if Dr. Fred was here right now, he'd say that's probably not the case, that they just want to go home and think about it. There's something else that they're just not getting. I mean, if they had a knife sticking out of their back and I asked them if they wanted me to remove it, would they go, I don't know. I think about everything. You know what I mean? So there's something else. They're just,
and sometimes I'm blunt. And see, I'm giving you different answers depending on how your confrontational level or your certainty is. Sometimes I go like this. I go, would you say that about cancer?
Right.
Of course they would, because they realize, like, no, of course they wouldn't. So that's why for some of you, I'm using the nail in the tire. You know, like, because you know what it is. It's kind of like they get mad at you because you showed them what a I call it a dickhole response it was. It was just like such a stupid excuse when you just lied to me the whole report, telling me, answering every question right, but for some reason your x-rays, what you saw there, which was worse than what I showed you, because I really don't show crazy x-rays in the report. What I showed you, which is worse than anything you saw out there, all of a sudden now it doesn't pertain to you. And like, so the root is down here. It's really money. It's I don't care about my health. It's just I didn't give enough value, or the pain pleasure model. It's more painful to pay money here than to, I don't know. It's like all Dr. Fred.
Agreed.
Could go through all that with you, but there's so many different areas. So that's why you address it.
Yeah.
Know in your heart and mind, hey man, I hammered it, and you know, let the cards fall. Remember, not everybody's gonna become a patient, but they should. You know.
Absolutely.
Next question.
All right. Yep. Next one. Thanks for the amazing answers from the last several weeks. Awesome. What percentage of my gross should I pay out to staff salaries, including my associate? What's your bonus system?
What percentage of my gross? So, I don't get that. It's like, are we just talking bonuses? Well, I bonus on the net, never the gross.
Right.
Right,
well, I think there was two different questions. I think it was kind of like, you know, what percentage of his income should he be spending on salary, and then also he was wondering your bonus system. So,
well, that's a tough one because do you want to pay your associates $100,000 a year? Do you want to pay your office manager 60 or 70,000 a year? So if you pay them that much, then your percentage of that gross is more, right? So I would definitely, instead of doing percentages, you know, Tabor, I hate the percent, because percentages are just, you know, it's like, what the hell is that? You know, it's like, let's do it this way. If you want to simplify everything, please. If you pay your staff more money, then you're going to get higher qualified staff, right? If you're paying your office manager $50,000 a year, you could hire a badass office manager. If you're paying your associates $60,000 a year, you're going to get yourself an awesome associate, right? So the thing is like, so what do you want to pay for? Well, that's a lot of my gross. I know, but it's peace of mind. Yeah. It's producers, it's drivers, it's solid people. It's like, you got an A team. What is that worth? Again, going back to team. It's like the theme of this call. So that's the percentage bonus structure. All bonuses are based off productivity. You do not raise people because they've been there doing time. They've been at your office means nothing. It's all about production. If they are not producing, right? Because if they've been there an amount of time and you got to pay them more, nothing happened to your bottom line because they were there for 7 years. But if they're there for, if they're there and they set up 3 talks, or they're getting 40 people to a dinner, all right? You get 40 people to dinner, you get a bonus. If you're a doctor and you got a lead and you set up a talk and the doctor went out and did the talk and 10 people came in and 5 people become patients, you produced. So they get bonused a percentage off of what they produce, right? So if a patient comes in if I don't do the doctor's report, or if a patient comes in because one of the doctors got that patient in from the outside or did a talk and they stay, they'll get 10% of that care plan. If that patient quits on visit 13, they still get 10% of the entire care plan, because again, it's like, I would have never seen that patient if they didn't talk to them, right? So,
Yeah.
that's why it's bonuses. That means it drives them to set up talks, set up events, do screenings, whatever they got to do, and get as many people in as possible. And those who become under care, that's when their bonuses start to kick in, where they could actually get 10% of the care plan.
And I would say have them track their bonuses, or at least have the office manager. I tried to do that, and I tried to, oh my goodness, it was another full-time job for me.
No, good one, Tabor. Yeah, Carla is like, I'm like, you guys track it, and then you let Carla, then all Carla has to do is double check it. That's my office manager.
Yeah.
So great one, Tabor. Yeah, so have them track it, because you know what? You bet they'll track it when it's coming down to, they'll track it down to the T, because they care about it the most, because it's their bonus. Right. So they'll track it. So I would bonus only on productivity, never time. Because time means you're entitled. I've been here 3 years. I should get a raise. Well, you've done nothing. When was the last person you referred? No one. So they got to understand what you're paying them is to do their job, right? So you're paying them this amount to do that job. So when they go above and beyond and produce more, then they'll get bonused on extra production. But it's not like, I'm not going to pay you more because you've been here over time. I'll pay you about. In fact, I'll pay you on production. And when you pay on production, it's limitless. They could make. I remember Dr. Brienne, she associated with us. I think she got $10,000 one month. She was insane. Wow. She was a machine. And she went out there and said a bunch of talks, and she crushed it. She's great. And she's killing it now. You know why? Because she was just a driver. She would have been. She's awesome no matter what she would have done. But you base it on production. And you will be happy, because your office will be growing and your patient, like, you're going to get more money when you get more money, basically, or the office does. Let's do it that way.
That's awesome. Good question. All right. So great feedback about investing into your staff. I understand the importance of working capital and keeping it liquid as much as possible. Along those lines, what is an ideal overhead when opening up a practice?
It's like from scratch. Like, I don't know. Like, hey guys, when you ask your questions, can you be as detailed as possible? Because, like, are we talking about a shell? I mean, like, what is the overhead?
Yeah.
I mean, your rent's different. I spent $2,000 a month rent on my first office, so the overhead was so low. And it was my wife and I. So when two people become patients, you're in the black, right? So the overhead is. Don't get fancy. It's not about shiny. Minimize the like, if you go principal all the way, you're not worried about insurance companies. You're not worried about fancy machines, and you just get your basic 2 tables. If you get your view boxes, you get a couple computers, and you do what you got to do. You keep it. You don't. It's not. Don't go. Just have the bare stuff right there. Make it look nice. And you do a great job. So it's not a lot to start it up, maybe 20, 30,000 to start it up and do all the modifications you need to do. And then, your overhead per month could be between 10 and 20,000. What do you think, Ted?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say when I associated at Dr. Shane, he gave me the best advice I'd ever received, it because I was about to borrow $100,000 to do some crazy thing with the practice. And he said, look, this is just my opinion, but I say, start out as low as you can, try to not to borrow money. And that's exactly what we did, and it made a world of difference. So
and then later you could get the fancy LCD projector or the flat screens, and later on you could get the digital X-ray and stuff like that. But they're not needed. You could get an X-ray machine and a processor for like $8,000.
Yeah.
And then the film starts to get expensive, and the chemicals, they start getting better and better. But just start with the basics. You don't need all this fancy stuff. Just what do you need to be a chiropractor? I need a computer. I need phones. I need internet. I need view boxes. I need an X-ray machine. I didn't have a sub scan.
Yep.
I
bought one on eBay.
Yeah. And eBay was. I had a spine and an A&S poster.
Yeah.
And that was in 2 tables. The Omni tables were the most expensive things I had. I think I got like 2 of them for $5,000. A used one. I got one used one for $1,800, and I got another like used one. But you don't even have to have an Omni table or drop table. You could have, just a good old ergo bench or something. So
Exactly.
And then when you make a
Yeah.
little money, then you invest it back into your office. And then there comes the Omni tables. And then it's like, you know what, we like some, better computers. And then,
Yeah.
but you have it, you pay it as you go. But you could really do it on bootstraps in the beginning.
Yeah. We were laughing because everything in our office came from eBay pretty much when we first opened.
eBay
So
was good. I know. eBay. I remember my apartment. Woody and I had all this crap from eBay
yeah.
that we got from there. It was great. View boxes
Yep.
and I went to the classifieds of all the schools and all these
Yep.
doctors are selling great stuff. I mean,
Absolutely.
man, we got like sick by because they just wanted to get them off their hands. So we got
Yes.
all types of great stuff. All really good view boxes, everything.
Right on. All right. So we would like to get more people who come to our dynamic dinner complete the lifelines.
Right.
Do you talk about it during the close or leave it to staff as we have been doing with little success?
Yep, doctor does it. Absolutely. So, you do the close. I go over how I step by step on how they make their appointment, and they're doing that. And then we're done with their appointment. I'm like, so who learned something amazing tonight? Raise your hand, and then people raise their hand. I go, or they'll be like, so who's going to take control of their health tonight? I go, so now it's time that you paid for it because how many people right now are thinking of a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone who sits next to you at work. You never know what they're really going through. Your best friend that you have right now may not telling you what's really going on. I say my story. My wife didn't know I was sick. Ask anybody who knew Robin Williams. His best friend never knew he was depressed or suicidal. I go, so you never know. That's BJ. Never underestimate how far something you say, think, or do today could change the lives of millions of people tomorrow. You go, so it's now your turn to help them because it's not your responsibility to take care of their health, but it is your responsibility to tell them the truth when you have this truth. And once they hear the message, they can do whatever they want with it. So this is, and you make it where you pick up the lifeline, see like, here it is. Write down the names and numbers of those friends, all those people down there. If they live out of state or out of country, mark it there. We'll try to find a doctor in the area or something next best close to them as possible. If they do live locally, then we'll invite you and them back to this event just like that, and you're going to be a hero. Why are you going to be a hero? Because you're going to give them a message that they might be going down that 6-7 miserable path, writing on the map, thinking health's how I look, health's how I feel, and they're running right into cancer, running right into heart disease, and you're that person in their life that brought them to this information. Just like one person took the time to tell me, out of everybody my mom emailed and everybody who was praying for me, one person took the time to tell me this message, and not because of that one person, hundreds of thousands of lives have been changed because that are influenced. And I have children, I have a family, and I'll always be grateful to that person. So take out your pen, when food's coming, fill that sheet out. Also, myself or the other doctors will come and we'll talk at your home, we'll talk at your work, we'll talk at your church, we'll talk at your social group. And how we do that is, we'll come out and talk, we'll cater it, and we'll do this event what we're doing right here. We'll do it at that home, work, church, social group, wherever you have us to talk. So if you're interested in that, our schedule is very tight, so we got to make sure that you book that soon. Turn that lifeline around and put down your contact and make sure you tell Carla or Misty, and they'll be able to, they know my calendar and our calendars, and we'll be able to set that talk up for you guys. And there you go.
Awesome.
And then I pray. So let's pray. The meal's ready. I pray. They clap. I'm out. And I already gave the credit card and everything beforehand. So I'll walk out the door. I sign the tab. What a really good tip. Always tip hard. Always tip 20% or more. Tip. Take the card. Walk out the door. Get in the car. And I'm home. So that's literally like I walk out the door. Carla gives me a thing. I sign it. Tip. Sign. Take my credit card. Put it back in my wallet. Out the door. That's it. Because it's like you drop the mic, you're gone. Because when they already know that the team that could come around, they'll answer all their questions and more. So I'm putting it all off to them, and they say when they answer a question, I know I'm taking this question to you, but they say, that's a great question. One of the doctors will answer that at your visit. So it puts it where if they want to get that done, they need the doctor to go over that with them. So hopefully that answered your question, which it did.
That was a D2. That was a D squared training right there.
Yeah.
I love it. I could tell it just like we were talking about training before, man. You just went into it and finished the second half of your presentation right there.
Why? Because I have practiced it. It's not, and Tabor, it's not because I've done it hundreds of times. It's because I practice it
That's right.
thousands of times. So when I do it, that's the result of my practice of
Right on.
practicing it. So when you see me do it, it's just a result of all the me sitting in front of my computer like this on the camera, going back and forth and just critiquing and going over it. It's a half hour a day. It's not bad. Or, and by the time, and I always used to have my talk in the car, and maybe before I went on the dinner, I would just kind of go over the bullet points. So I would go over the bullet points and be like, okay, just to kind of freshen up and
Yep.
then go in and do it.
I do that too. I actually have them right here behind me because I was going over them. I have a dinner on Monday, so I put them all out in bullet points, and that way I remember each bullet point, and it allows me to finish the talk.
So let's do one more question, and then we'll do the special Zaino experience speed of implementation surprise for everybody.
Okay, here it is. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with Will Livingston. He helped me out at the seminar this weekend. Will,
thanks,
if you're
Ryan.
watching, man, I appreciate you.
You did.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you do fasted cardio? Do you do fasted cardio? 5 to 10 grams of BCAAs with water. What brand of BCAAs do you use?
I do fasted cardio, and what I do is I go on Amazon. And I just go to bulk nutrition, and I just get a foil bag of branched chain amino acids, no flavor, no nothing, and I just put it. So I think 5 grams are good, and then you put it in there in your water. And, there's something also, you get something called True Flavor, and it's flavors, but it's stevia, right? So it's not, because I don't like anything. I don't like capsules. So if I have anything with a capsule, I always take the capsule off. I don't want that crap in my body. So I always do the powder. So I'll just get the bulk powder, do, what's that, a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, 5 grams, and put in my water. And I just use it like that. I don't even usually put this flavoring in, but you could do that if you want some flavor. And there you go, fasted cardio. I don't do any thermogenics at all. No caffeine. I don't like any of that stuff. No, none of that stuff.
Perfect.
Good question.
Good question. What do you want to tell us about?
What's up? Okay, so what we're doing, like I said before, Zaino Experience, that's the live version. So what is the Zaino Experience? That's where you come with your office and you can bring your whole entire team, and we take you through the full immersion. You get absolutely everything you could think of. So you come in, you come in on a Thursday night, then we start at a Friday, but you can even start Thursday night because we'll have a doctor's report or a masterpiece, so you can sit through that. Friday morning, you get there around 9, you see the office, and you'll be like, what the heck is going on here? And it'll kind of blow your mind a little bit. But the thing is, when you're there, you're really going to start to see all the moving parts. And then from 10 o'clock all the way through up to maybe 8 p.m., 6 to 8 p.m., we are going to train on every single aspect of the office. You'll train with me. You'll train with my office manager, my front desk. That's why it's great to bring your team. You'll train with the other docs. We will go to everything. MP3 it, videotape it, you name it, and it's all customized to you. I send you out an entire list of very detailed questions, and how you answer those questions specifically, I mold and model the entire experience for you. We'll eat at my house Friday night. Saturday, boom, you'll get to the office at 8. You'll see 150 people get adjusted an hour. But now when you see it, you'll be like, yeah, I know exactly what's going on here. But most importantly, be like, I could do this or more. But the whole experience is to really set you free so you could practice the way you want to. Not how I practice, the way you want to, because we're customizing for you. Then, we'll do another report of findings or masterpiece report and some more training. And again, the training will go to over everything, not only business-wise, and the office-wise, every intricate thing, all the forms, everything you could possibly think of. But then we'll go over even the lifestyle stuff that's concerning the questions and things you're going through. Now that program, Tabor, was actually, and I'm telling you, when you go to that, it opens up all these other opportunities. So Dr. Tabor actually went to the first one a couple 4 years ago, and we have brought hundreds of doctors and their entire teams through that. The price, it kept on going up and up. And so the price is $10,000 for that event. You can bring your entire team. But we have a promo code. We're doing one in April. That's the only one set because we're being really selective. We only have it open for 3 docs, okay? Just 3 more docs. We already have 2 offices for April. The max I take is 5 because I want it to be very intimate. Like, we really work hard together. It's not like a big seminar. It's together. So I have room for 3 more docs. April's the only one we really have on the books right now. It's kind of always underground. It's been underground for the past 3 years. 3 more docs. So there's a promo code. If you go to the, what is it, ZainoExperience.com, Tabor?
Yep.
Is Zaino,
ZainoExperience.com.
which one?
Yep.
Yeah, if
ZainoExperience.com.
you go to that, you'll see on the website, there's a promo code. When you go to register, there'll be a promo code. So you'll see the $10,000, but under the promo code, you put in 1895, and then I'll take $3,000 off the price. You secure your spot. We're only doing 3 offices. Also email me at Dr. C Zaino, DrCZaino at AOL.com. Let me know that you want the spot. We'll get it. You'll work with my team. If we have to work out payments, whatever it takes, we'll get you guys set for that April 8th and April 9th. I'll send you out a whole itinerary, and we'll go from there. So you were the first to know. Then tomorrow, Dr. Tabor and I, we're gonna blast out an email. We'll start the Facebook stuff. So I want to make sure that the Ask Dr. Zaino Live, you guys are special to us because you're modeled after our own hearts. Like, you take the time, you show up, you do what needs to be done. We were at the seminar, and out of 100 people that were there, how many saw the show? And 6 people, and be like, what the hell's going on? It's like, it's like, so, but we appreciate it. You know what? I was like, you know what? Good for you guys who are on the line right now, who are watching this right now. Well, good for you that are watching the replay. At least you took the time, and you're always going to leave better. When I watch Q&As like this, I always get one thing. And imagine every week, if you got one thing, at the end of the year, there's 52 great things you did, or things that shifted your mind in 1 year, and you're going to be better. So you guys deserve it. So I want to give you guys first crack at it. The Zaino experience is, again, it was underground for a while now. So now I'm opening it up to you guys. I'm going to open it up to the rest of the list, about 6,000 or 7,000 docs tomorrow. So I want to make sure, I want you guys to be there, because the fact that you're on the line, I know you'll get the most out of the event, because you have the thirst to grow, and we appreciate that. And so it's great. So if you go to ZainoExperience.com or email me, if you go to ZainoExperience.com, it's $18.95. That's the promo code. Or you just email me at drczaino at AOL.com, and I'll lock your spot for you. All right, Dr. Tabor, what do you got?
All right, so I want to tell everybody about the new bonus that we're adding for Chiro Thought Leaders. And what I'm going to try to do here is attempt to share my screen. There we go.
Oh, dude.
Can you see my screen now, Dr. Zaino?
Yeah, I got it. Let's look.
All right, so when you scroll down, you'll see this below the live video. Okay, if you purchase through our link, Dr. Patrick Gentempo's philosophy formula, you will get a private. This is a training that Dr. Zaino did with a private club. These people paid $5,000 a piece to be here. So we are not selling this. This is the only way you can get it, is to purchase the philosophy formula through our link. And Dr. Zaino covers X-ray presentation. This is a 37-minute video. Values, exercise, and identity. That's an hour and 20-minute video. The speed of implementation. That's another 53-minute video. Covers mindset, purpose, and values. Over an hour. His elevator speech they cover as well, and the dinner workshop and doctor's report is about 22 minutes. This is an in-depth training, and I'll let Dr. Zaino tell you a little bit more about that. But this is only good if you purchase the philosophy formula through our link. You've probably been seeing our emails, and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here so you can see me there. Anyway, Dr. Zaino, what do you guys say? Anything about that?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that was yeah, we knocked it out of the park that day. So again, it's just, you guys, you know what, you get, you take the step, you put action behind it, and you get the reward. So,
Absolutely.
Either or, we want to see you guys grow, and we added a lot of value to it as an incentive, because our heart is to see you be the best you can be. I mean, that's why we're doing this. We want to see you do the best. So, what we charge is just a small exchange for what you really get. You gotta have some type of change. So if I say, listen, I'm going to give everything away for free, then, we lose value on it. That's
Right.
why, we had a patient come to me the other day. She's like, I want to get my friend in, and I'll even pay for their exam. I'm like, no, you can't pay for their exam, because there's got to be an exchange. And every time something's free, then no one values it anymore. So it's really, you get way more than what we charge for it, or what the cost is, but it's just an exchange, and it allows you to value something. Where your treasure is where your heart's at. And we want to make sure that you invest in yourself so you can take yourself places you never thought possible. All right, Dr. T, let's close it out.
Awesome. Yep. So one thing I'll end with is just letting you know, when I started really investing myself, when I invested thousands of dollars in myself, I noticed it was a lot easier to ask for thousands of dollars from my patients. And it just really helped my practice grow and conversions rise. So I encourage all of you to invest in yourself wherever you're going to invest. All right. So thank you so much for being on the line with us tonight. And we will see you on the next Ask Dr. Zaino Live. Good night, guys.